right, we will get started with our April 16th Planning Commission meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Katie, could you call roll, please?
Baker.
Here.
Bilk. Here. Cox.
Here.
Frizone. Here. Hutchinson.
Here.
Mendoza Bach. Here. Hyatt. Here. Upholzer. Wood.
Here.
All right. We got everyone here tonight.
Okay, looking for, do we have,
Everyone's here?
everyone's here? All right. Do we have any public comment matters on the agenda today? All right. Be looking for approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay. We have approval of the previous meeting minutes of March 16th, 2024.
Second.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain. Wasn't at the meeting.
Okay. And we have no acknowledgement of correspondence. Do we have any public comment for matters not on the agenda today? We have no unfinished business. Today, as you could see from the notes that Katie sent out, thank you, we have two discussions. One is in regards to consideration, topic A, consideration of horse stables concept. And then B is a discussion to consider a text amendment to allow truck terminals in the new M1 district. So we will start with A, the horse stables concept. I'll turn it over to Arthur to give us a high-level brief, and then I believe we have the folks here to answer questions, and we can start the discussion. Sound good?
Great. Thanks, everyone. What you have in your packet is just a concept packet. Proposal, the applicants want some feedback from the Planning Commission tonight about a way forward, and is this concept something that the Planning Commission would be willing to consider? Right now, horses and horse stable uses aren't permitted under the zoning ordinance, so we kind of have nowhere to put them right now. But what an option, there's several options that we could do. One would be to look at, rezoning the property and considering that be a commercial use. Another option is, right now, you can look on the zoning map, the area where they're proposed is that the northwest corner of Jefferson and Gibraltar Road, and they're looking at a 30-acre parcel there that's zoned R1. We don't have any other real large R1 parcels except for the ones adjacent to that area, to the west and northwest. A possibility would be to say horse stables on a large parcel could be either a permitted use, so allowed, and they could come in with a full application, or considering it under a special use approval, so that there'd be a public hearing to notice people within 300 feet to say it's a slightly more intense use. If it was the proposal, if it was just literally for a horse stable, it's pretty, they're pretty quiet. I mean, people come in, they're gonna ride their horses. There's fields where the horses are let out. And if there was any noxious noise or smell concerns, there's requirements within the ordinance that could address that. The one thing about this proposal that you may want to consider it being permitted as a special use is that they are intending to have some events during the summer months as they get into operations. So that's a little bit more intense onto the property, having maybe 40 or 50 cars pull on, and there's going to be on a Friday night. So those are those things. But for your discussion tonight, is this something you're willing to consider? and then how to move forward. And one of those ways to move forward would be to think about, is a horse stables, would it be appropriate to have that in our district? And in other zoning areas, it can be found in the R or an ag district, because you would be keeping horses on a farm. Again, this is going to be a fairly long distance, and then a way to limit the potential for it having impacts anywhere else is on parcels 25 acres or larger. And we really don't have any other parcels 25 acres or larger to allow this use. So with that, I think it would be, if it makes sense, to have the applicant come up and talk to you about their plan, and then have some discussion. And steps forward would be, is there consensus? And then from there, we could draft language for you all to consider next month, and then set a public hearing, and the like. So that's kind of the step forward steps.
Arthur, you're saying it's R1 right now?
It is, correct.
Because I was reading today zoning for horse stables and stuff, and I came across an article. It claims that the state in 2006 passed the legislature passed a bill classifying horse boarding and training facilities as agricultural land rather than commercial property. So is that for tax purposes only? Because the part of the article continues to say that you don't have to pay school taxes if you're agricultural.
Right. Well, I think part of it is this argument, which is called generally accepted agricultural practices, is called GAMPS. So it was to make sure that that horse stables would fall under GAMPS within the agricultural district, is my guess, not seeing the article. So, you know, I mean, that's another reason. It really is not as an intensive commercial use, because you have people who are coming to visit their horse, to ride the same horse week to week. You're not really opening it up to the general public except on special nights, which is maybe the option for the special use.
Okay, yeah, because I was just thinking, how would we actually have to zone it, you know, assuming that everybody here was okay with it? You know?
Well, I mean, what I'm suggesting is we could permit that use within the residential district but require a person to have 20 or 25 acres minimum to have a horse stable. They're proposing 30 acres, so that means that we don't have that many parcels. It's not going to impact no one's going to be able to build a stable on a small residential property within the neighborhood, because they're over, you know, they couldn't achieve the minimum size. So that's how we protect the rest of the residential neighborhood. So does that kind of,
No. Okay.
GAMPS is that's a sticky wicket that half the planners get really, it can be a difficult issue to be general about, because it can get very specific.
All right, thanks.
She's like, no. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to see us tonight. We do appreciate this. We know it's kind of a wild idea to do this. Me and myself and my wife, Jennifer, we've spent a number of years in stables with our daughter that's become addicted to the sport itself and the community. We've noticed over the years of going to these stables that there's just a lack of community towards it, and it's almost not a negative impact to what we see.
It's just an absence.
An absence. So we just started thinking about a year ago, like this wild idea, what if we had something like this in the city of Gibraltar? We've lived here for quite a few years, and we love the city itself. We always have. And we just kept thinking, man, it would just be so interesting to have something like that in this community. So we kind of started down the path of speaking with Mr. Shoemate and a few other individuals from the city, and they've kind of set us in the right direction to now here we are meeting with you guys. We both sat down together and kind of did a quick draw on what we wanted it to, you know, kind of incorporate.
Yeah.
And see, and hopefully it's, when you do read it or have read it, it does kind of break it down enough to kind of understand it. We didn't want to go full bore into this thing right off the bat. We wanted to kind of ease into it as the city likes, and then they're happy with what we're doing, then we can move on to the next stage and the next stage. The most important thing to us is a family, fun, safe atmosphere for us, our members of the possible stable, and the community. We chose that location and have kind of worked with Mark greatly on this, just for the ease of it for the residents to be able to cross the street if possible down the future to get to this area, so they're not walking far distances. Come summertime, maybe kids program or something of that nature, they can come over and we'll host like a once a day thing in the weekdays. On a Wednesday, we could have kids from the neighborhoods come over and they could learn about horses and do things like that and stable work and, something real simple to, fill a void that could be in the summertime.
Trying to bring back a little bit of Gibraltar from what was here historically to now.
Kind of restoring that Western way of life and values and family.
Yeah, stated also in the packet, I don't know if you guys had thoroughly went through it or not, but our high school, we have a lot of riders in our schools. And we have talked to a lot of parents, and they outsource everywhere. They're going to different communities. Oh, we have to drive here. We have to drive to Ann Arbor here. And it's another possibility, and it's in my dream to actually get the school district involved into the equine, to have equestrian teams. We know Groseal has one, and a lot of the school districts were actually implementing or trying to implement that, and they're not getting anywhere with it. So that's what we're trying to come in at and hope for the best.
It's pretty much all we have. The most strong point is we just want the community of Gibraltar to be very involved in this. It's very important to us. We didn't want it to be some awful-looking industry, something that's eyesore from the street. That's why we wanted to maintain, if anything was on the road itself, would be mainly just pastures. And few residents we have talked to have seemed overwhelmingly excited about the theory of habit, because they're like, oh my gosh, how wild would it be to come down Gibraltar Road and see horses in a pasture and stuff like that. So we've gotten a good feedback from the people that we have talked to in the city, so that was kind of kept us going a little bit more and positive. We're learning at this stage as we go. I own a business, and we both have together for years. I've never done quite anything like this, so I appreciate everyone's patience as we've gotten into this, because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm slowly learning as I go. So thank you guys for all the help you've given us to get this far with you guys and meet with you guys.
Yeah, we accept all feedback.
Yes, please. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
It looks like you have it broken into 3 stages, and the first one is acquiring the land, making it pastures and,
Yes.
some sort of outdoor arena, and then phase 2 is, building a barn with permanent, stables and things like that, where people can probably, stage their horses and
Phase two is when people will actually be able to board their own horse.
they want to board there and
Yeah.
everything, okay.
We wanted to make sure we had the pastures set up for that. When it gets to that time, the pastures are all set there, they're growing, they're green, so that it's all available for us. So that's why we gave it like a 1 to 2 year term to get everything kind of moving in that direction to get to phase 2. And if it takes a little longer than that, that's fine. We just wanted to kind of, not rush the process and make sure that it was done right and correct.
And then phase 3 is potentially like an indoor arena where you could potentially have a clubhouse, lounge area, and this is where you would do shows and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
essentially, right?
showcasing of all the knowledge that the riders have learned
Yeah.
within their time there.
In those, I don't know one of these around here either, so maybe like in Monroe. I have been to the farm on Groseal a couple times, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Old.
Yeah.
Is this something that would have in your vision, is it like a clubhouse? Is that like restaurant type thing, bar?
Not so much restaurant, more of, I have 2 friends that actually are in Gibraltar that own the mobile food trucks and stuff like that. Because it's only going to be, 1 Friday a month, we would have local vendors come in for that. Now, if it develops into something more than that,
Yeah.
possibly.
It's possible.
But as of right now, within the first 3 phases, we're not looking that far ahead.
No.
As far as the clubhouse, I would like to see it be able to be rented out for weddings or parties or, that such nature. A lot of people like to get married in barns, so it's a possibility. But as he stated, we are very, very new at this. My dream is the sky, he's gonna have to eventually stop me. But, but he's the one who is in control of this part. So you answer that.
No, I mean, we would like the vision of possibly maybe someday. There is a ranch, I think it's in Montana, called the Bro Ranch. And they have like literally 5-star dining that's surrounded by glass that people go in there and they literally enjoy very expensive meals and watch rodeos happening and training practices and things like that. One of the main ranches that come out for the PBR and stuff all come from this industry. So, I mean, yeah, that's always a possible goal in the future, is to have something to that nature. But I think as far as right now, long-term or short-term-ish would be not really, maybe just food trucks for events and things like that. Maybe down the road, a coffee shop or something like that for,
Yeah.
for our members or residents to come in and get a coffee. We thought at one time it would be neat as the summertime, if you had a little coffee shop in there, neighbors or residents or anybody could come there, get a coffee and even sit down and just watch the horses in the pasture. We did talk to Mark a little bit about using a big chunk of that property for putting some trail systems in there for the horses and for the residents. It's a big open section of land that is kind of wet in most parts for it. So we thought if you could go in there and lay a nice trail system down for residents to walk through and enjoy, grab a cup of coffee, or even at that point, even in the near future, just enjoy that whole section of land in there, and just make it really kind of neat for the residents itself.
The 30 acres, the complete between the two canals, the two creeks?
No,
Or is it
no.
you got a small chunk?
No, in that packet in there, I kind of included in there. It wasn't perfect. I could go in and get perfect measurements, but I kind of just did a rough estimate through Google, and did the measurements myself through there, and that's pretty close to what I think a 30-acre parcel would be. But from talking to Mark, it doesn't sound like there's much development can really even happen in that area, because we kind of targeted the dry areas. We pulled all the maps for the wetland, the maps and the flood maps, which I didn't even know you guys had. I kind of just looked them up on my own. And basically, you have like kind of a wet section in the middle, and then everything kind of tees out in a U. So that's why we're going to kind of focus on that U shape a little bit and make it, try to stay a little bit off the wetlands. We don't want to tear anything down. We want to keep it very wooded.
Yes, we want to
'cause
preserve as much as we
as
can.
much as we can, get rid of the dead growth, and keep, if we do tear anything down, plant new trees, plant something nice. There's like the fence line that's right there on the corner of Gibraltar Road and West Jefferson. Clean up that fence, get that fence out of there, do a nice wood, kind of rustic looking wood fence that would go along with like a pasture kind of thing, and plant some nice trees or something like that. Make it something, we want to make it a staple
Desirable,
and
yeah.
desirable.
What's it take to make a pasture for a horse? Is it just a field, or you gotta plant certain grasses or anything?
You can plant certain grass. There are certain grasses, like Tractor Supply sells at 50-pound bags, and you could seed them out. The biggest challenge that we'll probably have run with doing that in there is the deer, because as we all know, there's hundreds of deer in there. So a lot of that will probably have to be fenced off for the most part, and I don't mean like fenced off, it's more like a chicken wire kind of fence, just to try to keep the deer out as best as
Right.
possible. And the goal was to get in there as soon as possible, to get the land cleared off as much as we could, and then kind of just map out where we would like to have the pastures are. And then even if the fences are up, at least start seeding the property, just so we know like it's gonna be an acre here and an acre here. That section's gonna be probably most likely a pasture, and just start
Right.
laying some seed out so it to grow. If the deer get to it, it's fine. It's not a big deal. That just have some good grass that the deer, that the horses would have. That was the initial idea, was to try to get in there as soon as possible, at least to clear and get some of the grass growing for at least the summertime. And then we could focus on the fall and the winter to start building some of the fencing and getting some of the other stuff going. As far as the barns, for the temporary barns, we were just thinking maybe even Amish-built kind of style barns, something that's transportable. So that if down the road and we get to phase 2, we can move those out and either do something really neat with them, like the coffee shop, maybe turn that into like a coffee shop, or something of that nature, even you use it as a housing or restrooms or something that, don't let anything go to waste. Any trees we did cut down, I wanted to basically bring in a sawmill, and if we can, preserve all the wood itself, so we can kind of
Plank 'em.
self-use, with it.
Nothing, go ahead.
Self-use some of the lumber that was in there from the trees, and so that we can build a lot of the fence posts off that. Kind of keep it very green, like not putting anything to waste, as I would say.
So it sounds like, starting with, obviously, the 3 phases, and then evolving into, like you said, the sky's the limit, right?
Yeah.
So if you could have a restaurant down the road, or coffee shop, wedding venue, potentially,
Yeah.
Potentially,
if
yeah.
everything works out.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking of, if this moved forward, entrance would be on Gibraltar Road?
So right now, there's the dirt road, or the gravel road where they were they were doing some of the construction and storing some of the dirt that's there right now, right on just on the corner, whether it be the west corner of Gibraltar Road and,
Yeah.
obviously
West
work
Jefferson.
work with you guys and hire a company to come in and put an easement into that way and an approach, and then kind of just use that gravel road that there is now, and then, start building a lane to go back there to the 30-acre part, and that way we can start clearing it and getting some of the stuff back there that we need to, just to start working generally. But yeah, we definitely have to work with you guys and find a way to get an approach installed right there, so we're not tearing up, obviously, the curb and things like that with trucks and stuff.
So is this a kind of a draft of what you want it to look like, or is this?
Yes, yeah, it's a possible, that, I think, and both of our eyes, we like it more, would you say, old-fashioned? This is nice, but, or no, yeah. I like a more of an old-fashioned kind of style barn, something that's more beautiful, eye-catching, very, probably, what would you say, like New England
Yeah.
kind of style.
New England, yeah.
But with little modern touches that are on the inside, but the outside would be very kind of New English, kind of Maine kind of look to them, so that they look gorgeous.
That's nice, because you'll be able to see it
Yeah,
from the street.
that's where
so.
we kind of thought the wedding part of it all, and
Yeah.
the venues, so that when somebody comes in, it's not, this is a little bit more modern for my touches, but it was the best example if I could show you of how I kind of would lay them out. But I think we'd probably both agree, more rustic, in our opinion.
Well, I like the idea that you want to do something involving the schools.
Yes.
Yes.
I really like that idea.
Yeah.
We recently learned in the last year or so that there was an actual high school rodeo association.
I have a bunch of friends of mine over the weekend went to Toledo to a rodeo.
Yeah.
She did too.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
she was
where
just
we
saying.
probably
yeah.
the same one,
Yeah.
and I also have friends in Gibraltar that board horses in other places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
they
was-
do shows and go to rodeos.
Yep, and so and we recently learned that, and we thought, it'd be great to get in contact with the associates themselves once everything gets moving in the couple year or two, and work with them and see what it would take to get, Carlson involved into something like that.
Yeah.
And do a vote and see if that's something that the high school would even want. And we could work with them and at that time possibly provide a few horses and let them learn.
Yeah, let some
And maybe it's a
horses.
learning thing and they'll get into it and love it. And we look at it as it can open a door to a young child and to many opportunities.
Well, I'm
for them.
thinking the younger ones probably would be more interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for the lessons.
Yes.
Riding lessons.
Yep.
I've been by Rushlow Farms. They have been there for
Years.
a very long
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
And my daughter actually did lessons there years ago.
Okay.
Yes, yep,
Yeah.
yeah, they've been there a long time.
It sounds like it would be a positive addition to our community.
Well, thank you.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it seems like the businesses that focus on entertainment, leisure, let's say restaurants, they seem to be most successful in our community in
Yeah.
recent years. So it sounds like that would fit right in, but it would be more than what we've seen, because most of the entertainment we have now is geared towards adults. But
Correct.
this would be geared towards all ages. I think that's a
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
positive.
and that was my wife's kind of general
Yeah.
idea. She wanted the
We need
kids to
something
be,
for the kids.
the kids involved.
Right,
And we
right.
thought that, we thought, a lot of parents are going to dinners or they want to go to dinner with the parents. And what do they do with the kids? Well, hey, the ranch is right here. Let's bring them
Yeah.
over and they can hang out for an hour, go to a lesson. They can come over here to JP's or Captain's, get some dinner, and then come back and they're there, finishing up their lesson and doing a few 20 minutes of barn stall chores.
Yep.
And then.
Babysitter, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what she
We've
does.
learned with that with her. It's, so
Yeah.
sometimes when she's there, and they get excited about that, they like that because they get to spend a few more minutes there. It's not costing the parents much more money at all, none, because they're doing chores, and
Yeah.
so it's a learning opportunity. That's what we can definitely say for our daughters. That it's taught them a lot of great values. That
Part-time jobs
Yeah.
maybe in the
That's-
summer for
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
She's gone 11 hours a day cleaning
Yeah.
stalls and taking care of horses.
Yep.
Okay.
yeah,
Field trips for Parsons.
yeah, there you go.
The other
Yeah.
schools too.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah,
open
outside the
ideas to it
district,
that,
yeah.
we'd work with the city and work with everybody on and the residents and do an open votes sometimes and say, what would you like to see here this summer?
Yeah.
And see what we could do to kind of increase the value of it for
Probably
the
draw the
residents.
entire downriver area plus Monroe County.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In for field trips.
Yeah, so there's a lot of great opportunities for it, and that's what we kind of got excited about it. And it's nerve-wracking, but I think we're getting more and more excited about it by every day and hoping for something
I'm
great.
excited every day. I just want everyone else to be excited.
Well, I have to tell you, when I first went over everything today, I was pleasantly
Well,
surprised.
thank you. Thank you
Good.
very much. Yeah, any questions that come up, you can always call us or email us. I know some of the questions that some people asked was like manure waste. I have found a couple companies in Monroe. I found a research from the state of Michigan that talked about waste removal, that like usually 30% of it is used over the pastures with like a manure spreader. Some of it goes to farmers. We even talked about even we could bag some of it up, and if local residents wanted it for their garden, they can come by free of charge, pick it
charge,
up.
yeah.
They can use it in their garden. And then there also is companies out there, and I think there's 2 in Monroe that will come by, and they can keep a covered container by your property, and then that way you can dispose of it every month. Because obviously, if you know horses, they are kind of a mess. And the other concern that we got was if an animal did, decide to pass
If they
away.
deceased, yeah.
What does that happen? Most ranches bury them on property. I don't feel with it being so close to the canal system right there, that's not a good idea. So we have found a few companies out there.
Renewable resources.
There's one that's, I believe in Ann Arbor, that's one of the more popular ones. For very, very small charge, very surprisingly small charge, they come out, pick up the animal and remove the remains and take it away. So that was kind of the concerns that we had at first, and we've talked to a few residents about that, and they agreed. Well, kind of seemed like you have that part down. Because that was my concern, I think, us with it being so
Yeah.
close to the residents, we didn't want a smell. Because barns can get kind of smelly. So we were trying to take all the precautions now so that we had a plan, so that if it gets to that point, we can definitely move on that fast so that residents don't have any concerns by that point.
And you don't plan on any more than 30 horses?
No. I think 30 horses would be more than enough. And really, on our end, it was only gonna be probably 10 for us
Yeah.
as far as personal and lesson horses. And after that, it'd probably be maybe 20 at the most would be for boarding.
They come and go or whatever?
Yeah,
Yep.
which is for anybody that's, I know there's a few residents in Gibraltar that have horses that board them other locations. And to have something here in the town, they were very excited about
Yeah.
that, so.
And so, I mean, in the kind of, to move forward, options, is thinking about how many horses, so is 30 the max, and so is, and that would help us think about, there's 30 acres. So sometimes you write the ordinance, a horse per acre, so that you limit the intensity of horses on the property. So it's kind of like, if that makes sense, then that's something that if you guys wanted us to draft some language, if you feel comfortable, then we can draft some language for your review. And I think that, because we're at the front end of this, I think the additional uses, the weddings and everything, I think that would probably be appropriate to come back, and we could include as a special use, but that they would then have to come back to the planning commission to add those uses if you wanted to, and then to be able to look at that. Just because it's, at this point, they're not sure where it's gonna go, but that is a more intensive use of the property than if you just have 30 folks coming and riding horses and the like. So wedding barns can get, wedding event venues can get busy, a lot of cars coming in and leaving at once and stuff.
How
So,
many acres of pasture do you see? I mean, you're gonna have a riding stable, you need a big riding area, then you need your stables.
Yeah.
You got your pasture, so I'm just trying to put in my head, like,
Right now, 4 pastures that
Yeah.
possibly an acre to 2 acres apiece. And
Yeah.
then the arena itself, the outdoor arena, I think was 100 by 200. And then with maybe 100 feet around that to put some bleachers or something like that, whatever the city would permit us to have for residents to come out and sit down and watch. Maybe do something that's just a light cover so that if they're there and it starts sprinkling, because obviously there's no indoor arena at that time. Most people that we've talked to in the industry that are riding, and we mentioned, is it hard to do all year round with it being
With the elements.
the elements on an outdoor arena? And it isn't. You just, some days it's too cold, and we've run that even with her in some of the indoor arenas, that they're not heated. So you go there on a -5-degree day and no one is riding, it's too cold. So we could map it out easily for you guys, and if it comes to that point, I could sit down real fast and figure out exactly square footage and stuff like that. I was gonna go in probably, if it looks like it's gonna be a possibility with you guys and it's something you wanna proceed, I was gonna get out there probably within the next week or two and map out the actual, I have the tool to map out the property line, and I was gonna map out the 30 acres. That way I can sit down with Mark, discuss it. We already have a general consensus to, to deed.
Yeah, to deed.
And then we're just kind of waiting for your guys' approval on that to go forth and sign all the paperwork and make sure it's something that's gonna work. And then I can map all that out. So, and make it so you guys could see that and be visible to that, so you know what's going in there at what time.
I'm just, stuck between residential, commercial, and agricultural.
Well, that's the, so,
If you do R1, I mean, the taxes, are gonna be huge.
yeah, I have some notes, like, I think it would be, I mean, based on so far the feedback, it sounds like, some of the team is fairly interested in the idea. It's a wild idea.
I know, it's
I
very-
do kind of, when I saw it, I was like, oh,
Genius.
horse stables,
I
like,
mean, we
okay.
can always come up here with another bar.
Fair.
Yeah,
That's genius.
most we've told about it, we get the look every time we tell somebody about it. They're like, whoa, what?
Yeah, I mean,
We
it's
get
a-
we get the wild look every time we bring it up.
A couple of things I have written down are, one was manure smell, which you covered some of that. Taxation of the property, so if we could consider the three different land uses like residential, commercial, or agricultural, how would that impact taxation of the city? I'm saying like for next month. If we wrote that up, what the impact of traffic would be at that corner, because that corner is tough. And then impact to the wildlife, because we'd be clearing quite a bit of hardwoods out, probably, well, 35 acres, essentially. I know you want to leave most of it, but
Yeah.
quite a bit would be cleared out. So that's
A lot
in
of their thirties is before all the oak hardwoods, I think. They got
Yeah,
a
when I-
big chunk of it's just
Yeah.
small underbrush.
it's the small underbrush from what.
Yeah,
grew
when I
out
looked
of
on the
last.
maps and stuff, it looks like mainly main underbrush. And our goal was anything that was big and old, like an old oak tree, that will stay.
That stays.
Yeah, that stays, because I don't want to just do a Texas-style ranch where it's just nothingness.
Flat and
Yeah.
clear,
You know,
yeah.
I want a lot of trees.
We want
and-
scenery.
You know, if the pasture's gonna fall
Especially
in
in
a
the
big tree.
summer, the people that come through will have shade.
Yes.
Yes.
Some
Yeah.
places for maybe some picnic tables or something.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have 30 acres, so if you find a pasture's not gonna line right, and then there's a beautiful oak tree there, well, then move the pasture over 100 feet and make it work. You know, so I mean, that's always the possibility.
I like
is-
that you're trying to preserve
Yeah.
the naturalization of it.
Yes.
Yes, very much.
They just went in and thinned some of them oak trees out not too
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah, they saw it cut. So I think
Tornado took out some of it.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
a potential move forward, if someone was considering to make a motion, could be that Arthur writes a potential proposal for ordinance on phase one only, with some of those considerations around land use and taxation, impact of traffic, if folks are interested. It's a, I think it's cool from a school perspective for kids too. We don't have that capability here. Most folks in Gibraltar that I know typically take their horses to Carlton, to Boredom, or Monroe.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some people around here, quite a few actually.
There's a few, a
Yeah.
lot, actually.
So,
Yeah, I'll make that motion to have Arthur draft up language, just like what was stated, to bring back to the planning commission next month.
And that's why we kind of laid it out in steps, was because it would make it easy for, obviously, you guys and us. And it's not so complicated right off the bat. We can hopefully always adjust things as we go
can work
along and
together.
grow. And we grow with you guys as we grow. And that's how we kind of looked at it, things like why, I know everybody wants to jump in head first and do everything great right off the bat, but in some sense, it's not always necessary. You know, grow and work together and make something really neat.
Works out better.
I like the idea of it. I love horses. I haven't ridden a horse since I was skinny, so. But being on the planning commission, you know, we have to think what's best for the city. you know that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I guess my question, I'll direct it at Arthur, is R1, how much R1 property do we have available? Because in my opinion, the day's gonna come in the city of Gibraltar because we aren't growing or there's no room to grow. And then our water bills will continue to get higher, you know. Everything will continue to get higher because there is nobody else, there's no room for growth to help pick up some of those costs. So my question is how much property does Gibraltar have left that's zoned residential? And I get it, that property sat there since I've lived in Gibraltar. Nobody's ever wanted to build on it, I guess. I don't know what it takes to build on it, to put it in a subdivision.
You can, yeah.
Are you purchasing the property or leasing it from,
Right now, we're gonna do, basically a land contract with deed. Mark didn't seem to wanna sell it right off the bat, which was fine. We can work with that over the next year. So we talked about doing a 5-year contract, with possession of deed, which is important to us, because we didn't wanna put a bunch of time, obviously, and money into something that we can't hold the deed, and then all of a sudden gets pulled away from us. So by holding the deed and having the contract, we technically insist own it. We will be, is what we've talked about with Mark, we're responsible for all taxes that come up on that property. Water bills, electric, obviously everything that comes along with owning the property, it's basically ours in the sense that just Mark is the bank at that point, just until he's ready to sell. But I think with the 5-year contract, he seemed like he was pleasantly fine with that.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot going on when we first started talking about this, because he was working on the motorhome park and all that stuff. So I think he was a little bit, didn't know how to take the direction. He seemed excited when I brought this to his attention, and he liked the idea. His wife seemed very excited about it, so it was,
We like it better than the mobile home park.
yeah.
I like it, but you make sure you talk to EPA and DEQ before you purchase the land, so you don't get stuck with a chunk of land that you may not be able to
Yep.
utilize.
Yeah,
That's on
yeah, I've been
us.
looking up a lot of the EPA codes and stuff like that. As
Yeah,
long as we
submit
stay
them
so
and
much
make
square
sure
footage
you get a-
away from, like, the canal surface and stuff like that, the drain right there, we don't seem to find any codes.
No, there's, on the other side of the canal is the Superfund site.
The super
That's
fun side.
what they're referring to.
Oh, okay, where the dirt is.
The,
Yeah,
the
what's called
PFAS
landfill
is
one
in
and
the river
landfill two
there.
over there.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah, which is northeast of the Frankenpoet
and-
drain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you will probably want to have, if, you know, phase one environmental assessment done so that you can understand if.
If it's feasible.
Yeah, if,
Yeah.
you know, in that phase one environmental assessment will tell you what's the likelihood of potential contamination.
Okay.
And that's what's migrating.
Yeah, because it's
there.
divided by basically the tree line, right, on the other side of that property. That's where the landfill used to be, right?
Well,
yeah, on
there
the-
was an
on-
oil pit right on the other side of it that's
Right.
covered up.
The two oil.
Right.
That isn't even
Yeah.
the Superfund site.
That
That's-
might hinder
that's the
your
other- on the
capability
other
of doing
side.
anything past phase one.
Yeah.
So it might not, you should check on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
How far will you be from the PFAS plant?
A long
Oh, they're
way.
quite a
That's
way.
That's a long way, because
That's
that's,
Oh, not
That's
that long, like
Or-
1 mile?
Oh, yeah, as a
Was
crow
it
flies.
even a mile?
Yeah, as a crow
Less than a-
flies,
yeah.
Less than a mile.
Less than a
probably
mile?
probably
From
half a mile.
PFAS factory. So, I mean, is that good for the horses? But, so is any of the area they're talking about part of the brownfield development? I mean, the brownfield site, is it part of the Superfund site, any of what they're talking about, or is that?
I don't know the line of delineation on that.
I don't believe it is. I believe that the Superfund site is the old landfill, and then the area where where the above-ground McLouth ponds were,
Yeah,
which is
the
on
oil
the other
pits.
side of the Frankenpoet drain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the northeast side of the Frankenpoet drain.
Right at the foot of North Jib, too.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right where, that's right where the,
That's why those
that's where those
signs,
ponds
you see
are
those
there.
signs on Jefferson
That's
now?
where the oil ponds were.
They had a big fire there.
Up in there, yeah.
Elementary school.
That would be something definitely for you guys to check on,
Ponds
just
that
to be.
always
Yeah, and we will, we can get on that pretty fast, just
don't
to make sure.
retain the water that goes over the floor.
Well, I think what
over
we
the
can do
road.
is, you guys have some takeaways I think you're gonna check on.
Yeah,
With consideration, I think we need to know, to Bill's point, like what the impact to the city is if we switch it. I mean, potentially, it could be developed. How much more developable R1 land is there? Not a ton.
That's-
consider all
Ideally,
those
that
things.
location, though, would be ideal. If anything could pass to get in there, it'd be this horse. I think housing and houses, and I don't think that ever
Too
happened.
much wetlands around there
Yeah,
for
then
it.
that-
The one thing to Bill's question is what I think Vince brought up at the last meeting, is the best land to develop is industrial and commercial, because those are the lowest users of municipal service.
Yep.
If you build housing, that requires a significant amount of service.
A resource,
And so, the planning circles will tell you it costs more to build residential than you get out. But commercial and industrial, you get more than, that's how you make it up. Residential development is a loss leader, basically, in the development industry on the municipal side. On the developer side, it's not. But on the municipal side.
So we have a motion from Mary Ann to draft up language. I didn't hear a second.
I will second her motion.
So moved and supported to come back next month with Arthur's draft language. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
What are we drafting?
potential language to.
Are we gonna have options? Like, it's all R1, or is it R1
I asked to bring
agricultural?
back the
And is there
discussion on
multiple
all of those.
options, or are we drafting just
Well,
one?
I think what I will do is I'm gonna draft a proposal, a proposed language that would retain it as R1 to start. To look at it as use, agricultural farm uses over 25 acres are permitted
Within
permitted
R1.
within R1 district as a special use, because I can see where we're
You're
going.
going to draft a special use language.
Yes, as a special use.
And 1 horse per acre, like. we
Yeah,
discussed,
right,
all
right.
that
So
stuff,
that it
yeah.
would limit, so we're kind of,
And only up to phase 1.
well, phase one, I mean, I think some of it's gonna tie, it will lead into phase
Phase-
2 and
yeah.
because of the special use.
Fair.
And thinking about that. But that will give you some items to review, just further discussion. And then I think you'll, at the next meeting, kind of get a full sense of, I mean, I think you can read the room starting, but it doesn't mean, things can,
Yeah, obviously.
things can fall apart when some sticky wickets occur. but-
Absolutely.
Yep,
Yeah. No, we're here, we're open, whatever you guys need us to do. So,
appreciate it.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So next item for tonight, item B is, sorry.
Take a
so-
vote on it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can we do the vote again? Just 'cause I kinda got.
I sidetracked it, sorry.
Okay, all in favor of the proposed motion to move forward with Arthur drafting language of current special use in the R1 district of 25 acres or more, also to include 1 acre per horse for the proposed horse stables concept? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right.
Good luck, Katie.
We can draft that later. Okay. Item B for new business today is the discussion around a text amendment to allow truck terminals, in the new M1 district.
We're gonna have Vince introduce it, because he was at the last council meeting, and then I can fill in a little bit as
And
well.
before, just as a reminder, last month, we just made the agreement and proposal to council in regards to the new M1 district. That is in discussion today.
Right, M1 and M2,
M1 and
but
M2.
now.
And the city plan and.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, following the recommendation of the Planning Commission, the City Council had a first reading of an ordinance to amend the zoning map for the new M1, creating the M1, M2 district consolidation at their last meeting, and then scheduled a public hearing, which will take place next Monday night. Also included in that were the text amendments associated with the rezoning map as well. So I will tell you, certainly my recommendation is proceed with getting that aspect of it completed between now and the next regular meeting. But you did receive something from Mr. Wilkinson, who's not able to attend tonight, nor with his planner as well, requesting feedback and consideration for a truck terminal on the area that was previously discussed for a kind of a campground type of facility in that immediate area. And so they provided a proposed text language for permitted use, and certainly it comes with some challenges if it is to be considered, of which I would probably defer to Arthur to go into to further detail.
Didn't we already recommend that the RV campground is not wanted?
That is correct, and that's no longer an
We
issue.
recommended that to city council last month, right?
Right,
Yep.
correct.
And adopt, and they're in the process of discussion, and then they have a.
They're in
public-
their process and.
We had the first reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first reading occurred, so based on the recommendation from the Planning Commission, those, as you outlined, we implemented that in the first reading. The second reading has to happen to
To make it law.
fully take it
Public
into
hearing,
action.
yeah, the public hearing.
Right.
Yep.
This is to add a truck verbiage for the truck terminal.
Right, so this is so if I may.
Go ahead. Yes.
And then.
Discussion.
Yeah, then discussion. So what they're requesting is adding a new use as a special use to the M1 district. So what I sent to you all yesterday was the language that Scott, their planner, had proposed about cargo and freight terminals. So these are those kind of terminals you see all along I-75 and along 275, which is pretty much in and out, not a warehouse, a freight terminal. Because a warehouse to me means trucks come in, you could have materials there for a fair amount of time, and trucks are coming in and out and moving. A freight and cargo terminal means loaded trucks come in on one end of the dock, there's almost no storage, they're then moved across the facility into a whole different set of trucks and pretty much immediately and shipped out very quickly. So it's that kind of just-in-time delivery system. Consolidators. Right. It kind of like taking the long-haul trucks and then distributing the material to the local trucks for final delivery. So that's the cargo and freight terminal use that he's looking to request to be added within the M1 district. So the M1 district, he kind of recognizes that it's a more intensive use. So they're proposing to have it in as a special approval use. So this is language that they would then have to, if they were going to do it, there would be a notice and a mailing, a public hearing, and then reasonable conditions can be added by the planning commission upon their design when they come in for approval. So you could talk about location of the entrances, landscaping, where the parking is going to go. So there are conditions that you could add in that process, or we could, if you so choose, could even add some design requirements in that description of what you want to see in a cargo and freight terminal. They're just the two recommended items that they're talking about is direct access to a primary or secondary arterial road, reasonable, and it would be 50 acres in size. Now, it could be set back 250 feet behind landscaping, so it could be it's going to be behind that tree line, and all you're going to see is entrance and exits. But one thing is, as I had told them, when they were proposing it, I said, this is significantly more intense than the standard permitted uses we were saying would be allowed within the district.
And as far as entrance and exit, there's only Gibraltar Road.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to come around on the backside of the property.
Correct. I mean, I don't think they can get around, they can't get around.
They can't get over.
They can't.
All the way to Breland.
Yeah, you can't, they would have to buy property, create a new crossing of the train tracks, which I can't imagine the rail lines are going to allow. So but this is kind of their request. And so and it's been recommended back from council for consideration by the planning commission regarding thinking about the cargo and freight use. And would you all consider, or what would you like to see if you would consider it?
That's not accurate.
Oh.
This isn't a recommendation
No.
from council, so I want this to be.
Oh, not a recommendation, but
And asked to review.
But that is standard procedure for council to move it back to us. It's not-
Correct.
There's no
not a recommendation for approval.
There's no influence from them
Right.
saying they want us to do that.
No,
They're just
consideration
following
from
standard-
council,
following
sorry.
standard procedure.
So consideration,
the-
is that closer?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If I may, just for clarification from an administration standpoint, well, you can take it to, because there was no council discussion at all. It was
Okay.
just something that,
Came up.
they came up, approached myself to discuss, and I go, well, again, how's it fit with the master plan? And clearly, if that level of intensity is going to come with significant conditions for any special land use. but just so it's clear, it did not go
Okay,
to the
so-
city council.
yep.
This is something that,
Okay.
through administration said, well, there's your option through the planning commission to at least broach the subject.
So the first thing that comes up is what Arthur and Bill mentioned, right? Like traffic is gonna be, you're talking 50 to 75 semi trucks a day in and out, potentially more, all 24/7.
It's in a bad spot.
And the way that it's currently written, to Arthur's point, could be conceptualized in a couple different ways. You could essentially have an Amazon system there running,
Small one, yeah,
which is
small one.
probably, I mean, as an investor, that's something they're looking for around here. It also doesn't fall within the current zoning, which we just made the recommendation, which is currently in flight with council right now. So my personal opinion is that it doesn't feel like the right fit in that location, in my opinion. That's but open for discussions.
Yeah, I can
I
see
think
it
that's a
take-
really tough use in that spot for the way that our city's set up right now, and I just don't know that that would work. I do commend the landowner, Mr. Wilkinson, and I mean, they've come with us, I mean, so horse stables, I mean, they're coming up with ideas to try and use the land. I commend them on that, because that's, if you own that property, you should be figuring out ways to develop it. However, I don't think this one is a good fit, in my opinion.
And then, but one thing is, this would be language for all the M1,
Correct.
District. So it's not just a site. So it's thinking about a change to the ordinance itself, not to the map. It's what, allowing this type of use. There's not many parcels, large M1 parcels in the city that it would be available to. But it is just, so it's not a rezoning. This is just talking about the zoning text itself, which would have an impact on what would be allowed within the M1 district.
Yep.
So that's, but
Correct.
it
Yeah.
could.
Are we required to make a motion, or would it just be Vince going back and letting Mr. Wilkinson know that we don't?
The flavor is not there for it.
Okay.
That's probably how I would phrase
Remember,
it.
he mentioned railroad too. He could put a arm off there and block
Yep.
middle jib for hours,
Yes.
like Allen Road, right?
Allen
I
Road,
mean,
oh no, then we have to
We
put
don't want
timelines.
So.
Like the one
it
put in
doesn't- Yeah, for a resident of Gibraltar,
I think I would rather see RVs going in and out.
Oh no, we can't, we're not backing it.
Yeah.
So does it sound like, do we need a,
I don't think, it was discussion. So, I mean, I don't think there's a motion required, because it was just for information and kind of to get your input and feeling. And it was discussion, I think it goes back to the administration, the mayor, and Vince and myself, to let the applicant know that, it seems not in accord with the zoning, it's too intense.
Yep.
Doesn't tie into the master plan. I mean, we did spend a lot of time discussing industrial uses and the desire not to have heavy industrial and try to limit that. And I think this is pretty intense. And that's what I had told the applicant, but it should come before you for consideration,
Yep.
and which it has.
is anyone opposed to Vince and the mayor going and giving our feedback that we're not in favor of moving forward?
I'm fine.
All right, cool.
We're fine.
We have no postponed or referred items, Commissioner Forum? Anybody got anything?
Oh, we talked about the mailboxes along Middle Drip.
Yeah. Oh, middle gym.
Yeah,
I couldn't,
my
okay.
house for one.
All right. Well, I'm glad that clarification, because I was looking on Jefferson. After the next day.
There's four colonials on Middle Jib from the corner of Friar going east. Every one of those mailboxes are like
Falling into the
falling, and we
ditch.
have to
Gotcha.
keep, I pounded mine in with different things, looks kind of weird, but it's holding the mailbox up,
Those mailboxes on middle jib,
yeah. And, well, ever since that they dug out those ditches,
yeah.
that's the problem. Even the road is crumbling. not just where the mailboxes are, but the road itself.
All right. I'll take a look at it. I was looking in the wrong, I was
Yeah.
on
Come on
Jefferson.
by, I will show you.
Okay, all right.
Anything else for, go ahead, Jim?
Can you bring something up to, about the RV park here at Humbug?
I'm sorry.
How many RVs could be in there? You wanted to make a.
Oh, yeah,
I thought there was
Did we do
26.
it? Did you do that?
We didn't add it to the agenda tonight. We would have to,
You want to add that and get that on so we can lock down how big?
I thought there was
We didn't
26.
want it to go, well, they wanted 40 or something
they
originally,
wanted
didn't they?
40 and we wanted to limit it to the maximum amount that was originally requested by the previous owner. Has there been any talk of that?
It was 26, I thought.
Has that come back?
Well, it got sold, right? But the
Yeah.
investors are some of the same people, so.
But the thing is, they actually haven't come back and gotten site plan approval, so it shouldn't be operating.
No.
No, there's boats, there's nothing.
They're not doing it. I think we wanted to make an update to the ordinance to limit up to the quantity that was mentioned in the previous request.
That'd be a good time to do it now. I mean,
Yeah.
in the next month or two.
I
Can
agree.
we, well,
Ask us to put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
yeah, we can ask to put it next month. Can we put that on the agenda for the May planning meeting? Discussion around number of RVs allowable within the Marine District?
Sure, yes.
I
Thanks, Jim.
thought for sure we limited that to 25, because that's what was built.
That's what I thought,
No,
too.
it says up to 40 in the
Yeah,
ordinance.
I believe the
It
discussion.
says
the
40
discu-
per, what's the verbiage, what do you call that, parcel?
Did you say it'd be 26 foot or larger?
I can't remember the exact on that. There's something in there like that, but it says up to 40 per
Size,
parcel.
What you're thinking of is 25 feet.
They had to go back and do their stuff and put detailed plans together where the dog walks were and the greenway. Then that would come back with probably showing 40.
Right, and the discussion amongst us was to limit that to the 25 that are built.
Right, so they
Yep.
can incorporate that into their original.
Right, into the language.
We need that, yeah.
40's
Okay.
too much.
Thank you, Jim. I forgot about that.
Sure.
Sure.
They did that without proper permits, they didn't go through planning right when they did that and everything. Why didn't they have to go to the ZBA first to get rezoned? Because it's marine commercial, correct?
It is.
So that's not recreational, that's not campgrounds, that's not anything. I just want to know why they were allowed to do that without going to the ZBA first, because the guy on Greenland Road there had to bring just the lower fence down to go to the ZBA.
It's because the zoning ordinance was amended to allow it as a permitted use, as a special use within the C3 district.
I remember talking about that.
So we've approved, the zoning change was approved to allow that within the C3 district, but it was a special use approval. They gained special use approval, but they have not gained site plan approval.
Yeah, so they were allowed to do it, but they moved forward without site plan approval. So they violated the construction of it,
All
essentially.
the roads in there and
right?
stuff that were approved 4 years ago, and Sunseekers was built too. And they waited till the last minute to put all that in, and those permits were all expired, as far as I know. And that wasn't a penny drop in the bucket either. I mean, that was some money spent.
Yeah.
I mean, people within the DDA district and stuff should be above board, not below it.
Well, I know they did put those slabs in without pulling permits, but they were also,
Plumbing and everything.
they did unbeknownst to us, but they were fined. They were fined for what they did.
Right, but they're still not approved through a.
And
zoning
they're
ordinance.
still not approved.
If the new owner wants to come back, they would have to follow the site plan approval and things like that. And next month, we'll discuss the maximum of 25 and go through that. Thank you. Looking for a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Moved and
Support.
supported.
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay,
Good.
we will, do you want me to go around and, I'm covering for Garrett tonight. Do you want me to do it from the other side? Make you guys feel more comfortable? Okay, we will start the April 16th Downtown Development Authority meeting. We will forego the Pledge of Allegiance. Katie, could you do the roll call, please?
Sure. Schumate, Baker.
Here.
Bilk. Cox.
Here.
Frazone.
Here.
Hutchinson.
Here.
Mendoza Bach.
Here.
Hyatt. Here. Upholzer. Wood.
Here.
And we're not missing anyone?
Garrett.
Oh, yeah. Do we have, motion to excuse absent members?
Motion to excuse.
Second.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we have any public comment tonight for DDA? We're looking for approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of the previous meeting minutes of March 19th, 2024.
Make a motion to approve the minutes
Support.
last month.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Acknowledgement of correspondence. We have the DDA budget as of April 11th, 2024 attached. Turn it over to city administrator to cover that. Any considerations or changes?
No, I think we'll talk about it on the next item with the bond proceeds, is that there's, as the project for the water main project is during completion and closeout, there's going to be a substantial amount of proceeds that are remaining for other projects, but we'll talk about that, I think, with the resolution here that's next agenda item. But other than that, from an operating standpoint, the revenues and the expenditures are, I think, pretty well expected for the fiscal year.
I did ask Vince if he could add some revenue and expense totals and lay out the budget in a little bit of different format to make it easier to understand kind of where we sit. So I'll pass this around. It's conceptual, but hopefully we can move forward with a different layout of the budget. And then we'll add the line items
This is
that we
the
have
old
listed at the
layout, right?
bottom. Yeah, that's the old one, and that's
And
a
this
little
is
bit
the
more
new
of
one.
a,
Yeah,
more of a formal budget layout.
and much easier to read.
Okay. Motion to receive and file the DDA budget as of April 11th, 2024. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
They made a statement that this building is paid for, and really, it's not. The
At city
DDA budget covered the part of and everybody's thinking this building's paid for. It's not paid for. You still got, what, 20, 25 years left to pay for this building?
I think that, if I may, through the chair, is this, there is a bond issue that, of which, portion of it was committed with the millage, voted millage debt obligation, and part of it came from the Downtown Development
Right.
Authority. The aspect of it that was associated with the Downtown Development Authority, that is no longer in place, but there's another 10 years,
Right.
roughly 10 years, maybe a little bit less than that now, with the remaining balance. When this was built in 2003, it was a 30-year bond issue on the city portion of it.
Right.
And so there's still a little bit more to go with it, so.
But I mean, everybody thought the building was paid for, and
The
Really ain't,
DDA's obligation to the building is paid for.
right.
That is correct.
Right,
Yep.
But the city and.
but nobody said that, Yeah,
I'm sure our finance lady, she knows.
Yeah, she does.
She's not here.
Motion to receive and file the DDA budget as of April 11th. Do we have a motion and
A
support?
motion to receive and file the DDA budget.
might as well pass that back to the other side.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have no unfinished business, and today, as Vince had mentioned, we have consideration to adopt resolution approving additional projects to be paid with the bond that was issued in 2023. Vince, I'll turn it over to you to kind of cover it high level, and then we can go into discussion and considerations.
So in 2023, the DDA issued bonds with the consent of, obviously, the city council for the water main project along Gibraltar Road. issued was a little over $3.4 million. The bond proceeds were more than sufficient to cover the cost of the project. And again, the project still is going to be going through final closeout, probably still some retainage remaining and punch list related items. But we're anticipating there's going to be approximately $800,000 still remaining to be used from those bond proceeds. The significant part of it is that when you issue these bonds is that you've got 3 years from which they're issued to spend it. And our original authorizing resolution was very, very specific for the water main project. Okay, well, you had more than plenty for that. Now what do? We went back and looked at other possible projects that fit within the DDA's development and tax increment finance plan, and we ended up listing 9 items that are contained in this resolution. So the first action is for would be for the DDA to issue or to authorize the projects that were listed with proposed uses. And then the second part is that it would flow to the city council, who has it proposed on their agenda next Monday night, to issue what's called a notice of referendum. When you originally did these bond issues under Michigan law, you got to provide a notice for capital improvement bonds of a 45-day notice for referendum. Well, you have to, now that the first project is done, you've got to follow a similar action, unless you had indicated in the original one a number of other broader projects, which is typically what, been my experience. So that being the case, it does, in this case, give the DDA the request to consider these in there and move forward with it. And if it's approved and there's no referendum, then you've got probably after July 1st the ability to spend some of the projects listed in here. So,
Would we be looking then for a recommendation or a motion to city council?
oh, clearly a motion to adopt the resolution, yes, identify these, because for the record, clearly it's got to go through our bond council in order to satisfy the requirements for this action.
So essentially, we have $800K or $800,000, and there's 9 proposed potential projects or actions we can take.
So do you have estimates and quotes on those projects and prioritize them?
We do not. We have some, I think, the ones that are coming to, we've got a couple, actually. One of them is, replacing the HVAC system over at the community center. Our infrastructure advisory committee has talked about the parking lots, certainly at the community center, here at City Hall, being potential replacements. But other than that, I can't think of any other one that we had that just came to the front like that.
How long, you go ahead, I can tell you, Gary.
We, during the Infrastructure Advisory Committee, we requested what have been main projects that haven't been addressed through the city in the DDA district, right? The HVAC units for the community centers were a hot topic. The parking lots have been on the hit list for a while, so we tried to identify the projects that needed to be addressed as quickly as possible based on the 3-year spending side of it. Now, it's not to say all 9 projects will get completed on this balance or surplus, but we need to start the process and try to get it going as quickly as possible, so.
So you feel that we can replace the HVAC with the water fund money? That's okay?
The balance of the DDA funds is what we've,
fund?
yeah, because it falls in the DDA district.
Okay,
So
okay.
those, the parking lots for the community centers, the parking lot for City Hall,
Roof repairs, things like that.
correct.
How long would it take, to Jim's point, to get quotes on all 9 of these so that we could see what the sum or total of the 9 projects would be? Because you might, depending on who bids on, I mean, the highest cost here is a lot resurfacing, I'm guessing, for those 2.
Well, number 9's a whole nother subject, right? The bridge replacement, that's a whole nother.
It
You're not
is,
gonna
you
get
could,
that for 800 grand and.
no, you'd be,
And we're applying to try and get some money for that elsewhere.
Absolutely.
So which ones do you really
Yeah.
want out of this?
I think the flexibility is you could probably get most of 1 through 7 in.
Yeah.
And then we don't have anything related to, the pedestrian and bicycle trail improvements, but in 8 and 9 would likely be local matches for grants that we would hopefully be able to secure.
It would be nice to know if locking in 1 through 7 would allow for additional, what if there's 40 or 50K left? Is there anything else that the city might want to do, right?
Correct. That's another reason we tried to outline as many projects as we could, so we had a bigger umbrella to be able to
Fair enough.
cover it.
Now, it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that the bridge over the Franken Poet Drain was going to be rebuilt with government money.
Oh, that, if I may through the chair, is just, that's actually what we have working with. I know the mayor has talked with representative of both
Right.
Senator Peters and Congresswoman Dingle as well regarding that specific. We were fortunate for the West Jefferson water main. We got congressional directed spending for $1 million. I think it's like a $1.35 million, of which we're going to use our infrastructure money for that. None of the, even though this would qualify,
It does, and that's why I thought the money was coming from that, so we shouldn't have to worry about it coming from any overage of funds that we have. Correct.
which one, the Franken?
Yes, the
Yeah.
replacement bridge that goes over the
Yeah.
Franken Point.
And even if it, to be honest with you, part of it is to spend it. Again, if we were to put in $300,000 or $400,000 for our local match on the bridge replacement, we've got funds where we could put the infrastructure to that. But if you can use it and there's a surplus, why not?
Yeah.
So this keeps your options as much open, and I think that's been part of the conversation with the Infrastructure Advisory Committee.
A lot of these are straightforward, but like DPW offsite, I agree, we probably need something, but are they buying something? Are they renting something? What does that mean?
Pretty much very limited site development. Talking with Bill Kane, the DPW supervisor, basically he's got plenty of, I guess, asphalt with a site that's in mind, and I'm not even familiar exactly where it is, but crushed asphalt that he could use to spread, so it'd just be some fencing and maybe some cinder blocks, as he told me, not a heck of a lot.
So it's property the city already owns?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
right there off of
I didn't
Jefferson.
know if they're gonna rent.
It's
out
the North
storage
Gibraltar
facility.
Road property where they stage those asphalt millings, and he's talking about creating bins
Okay.
to separate the materials to access.
Where the pond is?
Yes,
The-
on
Where
the,
the pond is,
call it on
yeah.
the south side of the pond, southeast
Oh,
corner.
yeah, okay,
Just east of Jefferson.
Correct.
okay. So do we think we need to prioritize these and then get quotes, or do we feel comfortable?
Well, I think, I'll be honest with you, that's in part with the Infrastructure Advisory Committee that was established, is to start putting some pencil to paper and finding what these quotes would look like. This is just a matter of putting them in place as to what's eligible for consideration. The rest of it will be coming, I think, along a little bit further.
Would that come back to us once you get quotes and stuff like that?
You're
or
going to
no?
have to authorize the approval and the spending.
Of the spending of that money.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Are you looking for a motion of consideration to adopt the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second. Moved and supported, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. DDA Director's Report?
No, I don't have anything else to add at this point in time.
We have no tabled or referred items. We'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Moved and supported, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You love that, right?
Yeah,
All right.
That's the power of the chair.
right. It was. I won't be at the next meeting.
Not me.
And an A for effort, man. He's trying.
It's my,
Telling you.
yeah, it's my kickoff. I'd like you guys to be there, but you're gonna be in a meeting.